Chris Brunasso is a tech genius, one might say, right? So in addition to the good looks and the personality and all that, he's a tech guy. So let's turn it over to Chris. Chris, maybe you can, because we got some new folks on here. Let's remember the variety of the audience here. And please tell them your background, what you come from, what's happened to you in the last couple of years. Chris is the only one in power that's been to my home ever. We were privileged to have him poolside for a little bit. He's met my wife, my dog. I'm not sure if my kids. So he stands alone in that category for the moment. So Chris, why don't you take over and let's have some fun. This will be interactive. Him and I might go back and forth a little bit. We'll have some fun. Okay, rock and roll.
Thank you so much. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing great. My name's Chris Brunasso. You guys have probably met me or my brother, Jonathan Brunasso, before. Bobby Smith says I'm the better looking one, apparently, between me and my twin. So that's great.
No comparison. It's not even close.
Put in the chat though, guys, where are you located? Do you currently are you currently building a team? Do you currently have a team? How many people on your team? Throw some things in the chat. Let me see kind of where you guys are located. Have you been in power so long? Are you building a team currently? Maybe any of the methods you're using. Throw whatever you want in the chat so I can get a feel of you guys. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. For those of you that don't know my background, I come from a marketing background. So I've been doing e-commerce and website businesses. Let me go ahead and make this full screen here. I've been doing e-commerce and website businesses the last 15 years, utilizing systems, being a big tech nerd, as Bobby Smith said. So I've been using CRM systems and doing emails and texting and all that stuff as I've had e-commerce websites selling things online. And I've been doing that a long time. One of my businesses actually went bankrupt. Long story there with a business partner, but I ended up working at Amazon a couple of years ago. I worked at Amazon corporate and I hated that. And part of my motivation, going into power and joining my brother's team was to never work at a corporate W-2 job ever again, right? You guys need to have your motivation dialed in. What's your purpose? What's your why? I believe if your why is strong enough, your how will come a lot easier. So whatever that motivation, that purpose that drives you, get that dialed in, write it down. For me, it's being an entrepreneur. It's having the time freedom, the location freedom, right? And team building is a big part of that. And it's never working at a W-2 corporate job. It's never, reporting to some boss. It's making my own rules. Although Bobby bosses me around quite a bit. No, I'm just kidding. But so that's my background, guys. I come from a marketing e-commerce website background. I joined Power about 2 years ago, and I took a different approach. I took an approach of building a team and mentoring my team. So I'm more technical. I decided to learn about solar and then apply my technical knowledge to help mentor other people as I was building my team. So kind of killing two birds with one stone there. In my first year, I closed over 100 deals, all virtually. You guys probably know I won the Tesla Model Y, but anyways, that's enough about myself. You guys already know some about me. So let's move right along here. What I'd like to go over with you guys today is talking about how to find and connect with potential teammates, with potential recruits. I'm also going to discuss some of the automations I use. I'm big on scaling and automating things so I don't have to work as hard, so I can be like Bobby by the pool someday on my phone, and how to attract and share the power opportunity and this business with other people, following up and discussing it with them to continue the conversation, to get people on meetings, to get people on Zooms, on your calendar. And then once you build your team, some points there. So that's what I'd like to cover with you guys today. Bobby, anything else you want me to throw in or anything else to considerations?
No, I think it's a great start. The only thing I would add to that is, folks, one thing we talk about this all the time is, and they make fun of it, it doesn't matter where you do this from. Again, you can do it from the beach. You can do it from your elliptical. You can do it from the treadmill. You can do it on your hikes. You can do it anywhere. I did it on our corporate hikes. Nothing changes. So it's just a question of the principles and philosophies, understanding how to do them. And you can do all of this from your cell phone. So let's let Chris get into it. We'll talk about it a little bit.
Awesome. And thanks for everyone putting in the chat. Some of you are building a team. We got tier 3s. We got Orlando, Jacksonville, California in the house. Victor's got 6 people on his team. Awesome. Atlanta. AJ, this will be recorded. Yes. Building. People are building. Awesome. Florida, no team yet. Awesome. Got a good idea of people in the chat here. So, one of the first things to do to start out building your team, right, is finding and connecting with other people, right? And I like to say there's 2 categories. There's all of your home professionals that I like to target. Think of roofers, realtors. And if you guys, don't know this or need to write this down, take some notes of these professionals that you should be networking, right? With roofers, with realtors, with loan officers, with contractors, with electricians, with mortgage lenders, right? I especially like to go after realtors and mortgage officers right now because real estate is hurting, right? Real estate is at a low point with interest rates so high, and realtors and loan officers are looking for more ways to add income to their business. So those are 2 great people. So all of those home professionals, realtors, loan officers, roofers, HVAC, contractors, etc. Those are all phenomenal people to, number one, you can get referrals from them, of course, and give them $1,000, but you might as well recruit them on your team, give them a bigger slice of the pie, have them get half the commission, start building your team, building your passive income with those people. And then the other category is salesmen and women, right? And who do you know? Think to yourself, not only when I tell you this, who do you know that are these type of professionals or salesmen or homeowner professionals, but also think to yourself, how can you network with more of these people? Can you go to meetings? Can you go on a Facebook group? Can you go on LinkedIn? Can you do all these things? Or maybe you know someone that knows some of these people. Maybe you know someone that's part of a realty group. So the second category is salesmen and women, people selling cars, alarms, pest, insurance, water, cell phones. Heck, even my brother was selling cell phones not that long ago at Verizon Wireless. We get a lot of salesmen and women that are joining Power. Hundreds of salesmen and women are joining Power monthly. So have them be joining your team. Do you know any of these salesmen and women? How can you network with them? I've bolded some of the things in my presentation here, how I do automations, right? So I actually get lists of people. I look for lists of salesmen or women. I look on Facebook or Instagram. I look on LinkedIn, and I'll talk more about that. So I look for lists of these people that have databases that I can communicate with and email, call, text them at scale, right?
Hey, Chris, let me jump in for a minute. So make it clear, and I apologize, I'm multitasking as well.
Sure.
I've got an install going in California. Folks, all these people are out there at the touch of the button for free. So if I'm everybody on here today, because remember, at some point you're going to come to me and you're going to say, well, I had some problems in Power and I lost a couple reps because of this or because of that. Everybody's got the story, right? We know that. In my humble personal opinion, and Chris, let me know if you're going to get to this, but sure, you got to make sure that your Facebook profile reflects what you do. Are you going there, Chris, or should I talk about it for a moment?
Yeah, I'll show some examples.
Okay, so he'll talk about that in a minute. You got to make sure you're linked in. And you can talk about groups as well?
Yep.
Show them. Okay, then you do your thing and then I'll chime in. Let's keep going then.
Awesome. So yeah, and what is your skill set, right? What are you good at? Are you good at going to an in-person networking group like a BNI or Chamber of Commerce? Are you good at social media? Are you good at connecting with people on LinkedIn? Are you good at going out, door knocking, whatever it is, right? Bring your skill set to this platform, not only for sales, but also for the team building aspect of it as well. On LinkedIn, again, like Bobby said, you want to make sure your profile is dialed in, you're connecting with people, you're posting regularly on all of your channels, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and joining groups. There's groups of people on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can join groups of realtors, groups of loan officers, groups of roofers, those kind of groups. One of the ways I do automations on LinkedIn that Bobby's had trained before is called Lead Hero. All right. So quite literally, I've been using this service for the last year and a half, and I've basically used them. They send invitations to connect with people on LinkedIn, about 30 per day. And you can use this service called Lead Hero to automate your LinkedIn and automate basically sending friend requests and sending automatic messages to people on LinkedIn. So, and Bobby can provide, we have training on that for Lead Hero to get in touch with them if you're interested in that.
Yeah, there's a training in the knowledge base from Lead Hero. Again, I found them on LinkedIn, and I've been using them for about 6-7 years now. Also with great success. It's an investment. It costs about $800 a month. Plus, you've got to be on Navigator. So again, once you're making money, it doesn't matter because now you're just reinvesting in your business. That's what we do. But one thing about Chris's message. Remember, one of the most common mistakes I find, at least I believe, on LinkedIn. Your profile is not up to date, right? And it doesn't have current messaging. It has your former job. It has what you used to do. It has the other 10 things that you are doing, but it doesn't really tell people what you're doing. You can see Jonathan's. He does it about as well as anybody does it. I find person after person after person that doesn't have their contact information. They don't have their current email address. They don't have their phone number. I want people calling me, right? So some of the things you have to look at on LinkedIn and Facebook, and Chris will talk about this, but I used to think LinkedIn was for business and Facebook was for fun. I've recruited as many people on Facebook with the exact same strategy as I have on LinkedIn, maybe more recently. So the first thing you want to do is look at your LinkedIn profile, look at your Facebook profile, connect with me or Chris online, Facebook, LinkedIn, and see what we've got on there. And it needs to be updated every once in a while. Our impact report was something that could be recently reposted. So it all begins with the basics and fundamentals, which means a current updated page, a current picture, current contact information. And like he mentioned, if I'm you, I'm a group, I'm a member. Let's just say you're in Arizona. I'm a member of every Arizona business group that there is. I've joined that group. I'm a member of Arizona solar professionals, Arizona mortgage professionals, Arizona real estate professionals, Arizona sales professionals, and whatever it may be, just as a start. So the same thing on LinkedIn as Facebook. You can join as many groups as you possibly can. And so if you ever say, hey, this happened to me in power, or I lost a rep because of this or because of that, remember, you are going to lose reps. They're going to quit because of their own economic situation, their lack of focus. They didn't follow our training. They didn't have the guts for it. They didn't have this the staying power. They lost a construction job. We screwed up. We're going to screw up. We're going to make mistakes. We're in the construction business. And even all the leaders out there, and you know who you are, you've got to be 40, 50, 60 wide on your first generation to maximize this comp plan. There are people losing millions of dollars as we speak because they're waiting and they're not 40 wide on their first generation to maximize the comp plan. Right. And these are quite often the same people that speak to us about their economic challenges, their challenges in power, their challenges with an install, all that noise that we hear. And that's just business 101. But they're not doing what they need to do to ensure their income. Why? I've never been able to understand that.
Yeah. And that's a great point, Bobby. And you want to set expectations. When I'm recruiting, I tell people this is solar, this is construction. We're drilling holes on people's roofs. We're at the mercy of the utility company, the electric panel. Shit goes wrong. It happens. It's construction. So you gotta set expectations. You can't expect salesmen and women that are selling cell phones or water to join solar and think it's all rosy, right? It's a completely different industry when you're doing construction. On my brother's LinkedIn right here, you can see we've got some information at the top, contact info. We've got a link to our 15-minute video. Solarmodelexplained.com is our 15-minute video my brother recorded. That's probably one of the #1 videos we send people. It's a 15-minute video, very similar to Monday night's Power Hour. We've got my brother here with the picture with the Sunrun CEO from back in the day, video about power. So he does posts. My brother actually hired a social media assistant to do posting on his behalf, right? So again, automating your posting. There's softwares that can automate your post. You just do a post in a software and it'll post it to 5 different sites, right? So automations. You can see just here today, just this morning alone, we've already got 7 people messaging us right here on the, and the Lead Hero, because Lead Hero, that service, is sending connection requests and messaging every single day. I actually missed a slide here. Why building a team? Most of you already know, but it's the passive income, right? JC Rangel says, do you want to go D to D, door to door until you're DEAD? No, you want to duplicate yourself. Would you rather make 100% off of your own time, energy, or would you rather make 1% off of 100 people, right? So for those of you that haven't built a team, benefits, it's immense, the benefits to build your passive income. And oftentimes the top builders, just like Raisa and Rob, are also the top mentors. And props to Raisa for being one of the top mentors last month in the nation. And that's from them building, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You build your passive, you build your team at the same time. So moving right along. Few other things on connection and groups. We talked about LinkedIn, and YouTube videos are key. Record a little 2-3 minute video of themselves on YouTube about the solar gold rush or the solar opportunity. That's a great method. And how can you apply automations to that? Can you put a form on your YouTube video, link it to a form, maybe link it to a Calendly, so a Zoom with you, right? You want to think in terms of automations. How can you drive people to your own forms, your own database, collect their information, have maybe a Calendly where they can book a time to discuss it with you? On Facebook and Instagram, can you run some ads? Can you boost a post? My brother and I also have hired a VA to send connection requests and message people, whether it's in Hawaii or new places we launch or California where we're located. We actually have a VA that we have that will go on Instagram and connect with realtors and connect with some of these people I'm mentioning, similar to how Lead Hero does it on LinkedIn. They're doing it with an automated software. We have a VA that does it on Facebook and Instagram, a little more manual. So again, that's kind of automations there. Maybe some ads on Facebook or Instagram, maybe have an assistant or a VA that automatically does connections and messaging and liking people's posts. And you can always do that yourself, right? Block an hour on your calendar a day to go on LinkedIn, to go on Facebook, to find hashtag realtors, to find just sold and connect with those people.
A VA is a virtual assistant, just to answer your question.
Yeah, VA is a virtual assistant, typically based out of the Philippines or somewhere. They're usually around $8, $9, $10 an hour, and you can assign them a task. We have a VA that we do 2 hours a day that connects with realtors and other people on Instagram and Facebook and sends them messages. As Bobby mentioned, you want to join all of the groups on these channels as well. The solar group, this group, there's tons of groups on Facebook with people looking to make money, with people interested in sales, in different strategies, right? In the environment, in working from home. That's huge with COVID. After post-COVID world we live in, everyone wants to work from home now. With home professionals, realty is a ginormous category of realtors, loan officers, title. There's tons of groups around those as well. And networking. Networking, as you guys know, my brother's a big proponent of BNI and Chamber of Commerce. If you guys are not members of your local BNI or local Chamber of Commerce, you need to sign up for them. You need to be involved. You need to go to the weekly meetings, and you need to network with those roofers, realtors, HVAC. Literally, those groups are just there to give each other referrals to help you grow your business. If you attend, participate in it, right? Not only can you get referrals for solar to sell deals, but you can also add these sales professionals to your team that want to sell. Sometimes they might start out as just giving you a referral and making $1,000. And quite often that's the hook and sink. With that $1,000, they get they gave you a sale. Oftentimes they'll want to join your team after that. They're like, wow, I can make $1,000 that easily. I'm going to join. I want to get half the commission.
Hey, Chris, we're getting a couple requests for scripts. I don't know if you have any that you want to show or you're going to show. One of the ones that I use, folks, that's tattooed on my brain. Let's just say I'm speaking to a solar pro online on LinkedIn. I copy and paste all this. I have all this in my notes section on my cell phone. I don't touch my computer ever, unless I'm doing a solo presentation. Never for recruiting, ever, ever, ever. Are you open to dramatically increased commissions and stock options as we scale to $1 billion IPO? That's what I send to solo pros all day, every day. Are you open to dramatically increased commissions and stock options as we scale to $1 billion IPO? Anybody that doesn't want to hear about that's an idiot. They deserve to work where they work and chase bad leads in a red line model all over their state, right? It gets them 8 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10. If I'm talking to a real estate agent, all I do is copy and paste. Have you joined the leading real estate firms in the United States by adding solar to your client offerings in these rather extraordinary times? And you can see Chris may show you some of these. And remember, in your knowledge base, there's a training in Building with Bobby that Melissa Dawson did that walks you step by step by step how to use the resources that are already in your knowledge base that we did for Career Week when we went after home contractors, real estate agents, and mortgage professionals and solar pros, all in your knowledge base. Great training by Melissa Dawson. She walks you step by step, word for word, post by post of exactly what to do. Me, I keep all my presentations in my notes section on my cell phone, and I copy and paste all day long. It is simply math. If you connect with X amount of people a day, if you engage with X amount of people a day, if you message X amount of people per day, you will recruit X amount of people per day. X amount of those will actually engage. If you engage them properly, X amount of those will quit. It's math. It's pure math. The question is, are you willing to devote X amount of time per day, per week, per month, per year, the same thing you would with workout or prayer or attention to your children or whatever it might be? It's as much work ethic as it is anything else. Can you outwork the other guy? Can you outwork the other gal? What are you willing to do to win? Michael Jordan didn't get where he got by accident. I saw an interesting story the other day by Coach K. Many of you may know him as the famous coach of Duke's extraordinary basketball program. And he was talking about when the Olympic team first came together, the dream team. And Kobe came up to him beforehand. And, you know, Coach K didn't know what to expect. He's coaching a bunch of superstars. And Kobe said, Coach, all I want to do is guard the other team's best guy because I'm going to shut him down. That's what he wanted to do. He didn't care about scoring. He didn't care about the box score. He didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to shut down the other team's best player. The people that win, Kobe was better than everybody. I have a dog named Kobe. Kobe was better than everybody else because he outworked everybody else. It's that simple. And he had that great mentality. You combine work ethic with mentality like Chris does, like Jonathan Brunasso does. There's an old saying, what do? You do everything. How often do you do it? You do it all the time. So what do? You do everything all the time. You just have to plan it out. My solar sales, my recruiting, my follow-up, my referral business, my marketing business, like you would any other business. That's simple. So all the scripts are in your back office. All the scripts are in your knowledge base. All the training for this is on Building with Bobby. Everything is there at your beck and call.
Thank you, Bobby. So overall, guys, you know, part of my strategy is to try to find and connect with as many people as possible and use automations to do that, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, whether it's with a VA, whether it's using LinkedIn and some automations there, right? And I then have sort of this engine, if you will, this engine where I do automations, right? So I have a CRM system. I have some tools that I've used to send texts automatically, to send emails automatically. So that's engine, if you will, right? And then I just try to get more data, more gas for the engine, more people that I find on LinkedIn or Facebook or groups or in person. And I build my database. I build that engine, right? So some of the automations that I use for that engine are creating funnel text and email messages. So for texting, I use simplytexting.com. There's other ones like easy texting, and you can add contacts to there and you can text everyone at the same time. In fact, I just text my whole team about 30 minutes ago to join this training. So I use that texting not only for recruiting for homeowners, but also for once my team is joined, so I can text everyone all at the same time and even create automated texting, join trainings or join the Monday Power Hour or my recruiting Zooms. And then MailChimp.com. There's a lot of email providers. You guys have heard of like Constant Contact or MailChimp or some of these things. And you can easily make an email that gets sent automatically once someone gets added to the base. For videos, I have YouTube videos, my brother's channel, our 15-minute video, solarmodelexplained.com. Sometimes we use Vimeo. And then you want to have a good calendar system, right? Calendly.com is what I use to create a weekly event. You know, if you're getting anyone interested or trying to build a team, could you have a Zoom that you do once a week that you can meet with people, strategize with them, have an event on there, discuss power business opportunity, them watch the 15-minute video before they jump on Zoom with you? I like to do that so I don't have to repeat everything myself. So anyone that ever Zooms with me, they have to watch our 15-minute video, solarmodelexplained.com, and have the calendar so they can meet with you, right? You can use a CRM system. I used a free account to everything, to take notes, to discuss like who I had a conversation, would notate it in HubSpot, just the free version. Actually, I didn't even pay for it. And you can put follow-up dates. So it can remind you, okay, I talked to this person on so-and-so date. I'm going to put a reminder to follow up with them. And you can use that for homeowners as well. Now, I've been using all of these things right here, guys, the last year and a half or so. I'm going to be switching everything to Go High Level, which is one of the most well-known CRMs in the solar industry. So I'm currently building that out. I may actually share some of that once I build it. But basically, it does a lot of the text, email, videos, and calendar all in one. Go High Level. It's a little more advanced. I'll be working on that and actually sharing that with some people on my team pretty soon here. So that's what I'm switching to. But currently I've been using all these other things that make it very simple to just add people to a texting. And texting, I think, is the best. A lot of people don't check their email anymore, but texting works really well. So that's probably been the most successful thing for me, is that simplytexting.com, just adding all these people to it and texting people to join the Monday Power Hours, to join one of my Zooms. I text them about power, kind of tease the opportunity, right? And that's what you want to do when you get all these people from these different sources. You want to tease the opportunity. You want to make sure you're speaking to the right person, right? Are you speaking to a solar pro? Are you speaking to a roofer? Are you speaking to a salesman? You know, a lot of the homeowner professionals, they want to add income and profit to their business with solar. They don't realize they can make thousands of dollars by joining power and just giving referrals to the top closers that'll do it virtually for them in 25 states with an average of 6,000 to 10,000 commission. A lot of you guys know that, but they don't, right? So you have to share that information, that opportunity with them, kind of tease them a little bit, let them know they can make a 6-figure side referral income using top closers. I literally have a realtor on my team that made 6 figures last year just by giving me and some of my mentors his referrals. Crazy, right? And you want to post your wins on social media as you're texting, as you're communicating to people, have them follow you, send them your Facebook page, send them your Instagram page. Keep posting your wins. And you don't have to think of what to post yourself. Copy what my brother's doing, copy what other people are doing, copy and paste. If someone else posts a solar deal, post that yourself. So make sure all your social media is updated, your profiles, your images, your contact information. I like to put a Google Voice phone number on all of my profiles. Google Voice is a free phone number you can use. So I use that for business, and I have an assistant that helps me respond to text messages. So again, that's scaling, right? Put that phone number on all of your profiles. It's a Google Voice. You or an assistant or a VA can help you respond to those. And I also put my calendar link when I have videos or other things for recruiting on my profiles that I post. I'll put a link to my calendar so people can book me to discuss the opportunity. And again, on my calendar, I let them know they need to watch the 15-minute video before we meet, right? So this, again, is all scaling, automations.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris. Let's stop for a second there. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat bar. 99, and Chris, just to be clear, how many people have you sponsored in Power?
Over 100.
Okay. Just to be clear, I don't think probably less than a handful of times I've ever gotten on the phone with someone ever until they've watched the video, right? If they're a high level, high profile, quote unquote solar pro, I may spend a few minutes with them beforehand. I send the same information, press releases to read. Paul Winoski joined the company, our record breaking crowd fundraisers, our recognition as one of the most impactful companies in the world, a 15-minute video or whatever it's going to be. And then I'm getting on the phone with them afterwards. I'm not pitching, I'm not selling. If they're not willing to watch a 15-minute video, then I'm not willing to talk to them. They don't deserve my time. They don't deserve your time. So remember, we're not pitching, we're engaging, right? And there's a big difference, right? So you want to give them something to do. Take a look at this, be my guest on Monday night, bring them to the Monday night. We'll talk about that a little bit more, okay? I see a lot of you are digging into this virtual assistant and how cool that can be. Again, we're entering into a new world here. But remember, we kid about this all the time. I've been doing this for 8 years now, building the power sales force, doing everything I can to help this company. I've never had an employee under me. I've never had an assistant. I've never had a virtual assistant. I've never had any of that. This is all just good old fashioned, hard work. And when I say hard work, when you love what you do, they say you'll never work a day in your life, right? So have fun. And Chris's point about gauging people differently. Remember, 1 minute I'm talking to a high-paced New Yorker who wants to get to the freaking bottom line. And then I'm talking to someone from the South who wants to slow it down and have a good old folksy conversation. So you have to be aware of who you're talking to, where you're talking to them, if you can, what they do for a living. I'll check out their Facebook profile if I can get a little intel on them. What do they post? I'll get a little insight sometimes. What do they post? What are they into? What's their style? What's their rhythm? I'll look at the groups they're a part of. I'll even look at their hobbies and what they do. If they're a foodie, I know I can drop a dime on that. If they're this, if they're a workout, unfortunately, if they're a Laker fan, whatever it is that they may be, right? Then I know where I've got somewhere to go. So some of this is just a little bit of, playing the game, and understanding how to play the game. So, and have fun with it. Again, this should be easy. This should be fun. It's math. Again, you're loading up a funnel, you're sharing information, and then it just purely becomes mathematical.
Okay? Right. And that's such a good reminder, Bobby, because a lot of times I do things quite automated, quite at scale. And you need to have that personal touch. That personal connection is so important. You're going to miss a lot of people. You're not going to connect with a lot of people if you're just, being so robotic and relying on a VA or just an automated text, right? You got to have that personal approach. Go to their house, sit by the pool, and get a tan with them, right, Bobby? No.
Rob, I'm not sure I understand what your message is, but let's keep going.
Yeah. So, and just to show you guys, I use the calendar system Calendly. Right here, you can see Power Solar Business. People can choose to meet with me a couple times a week, and it's a 30 to 45 minute Zoom. And I tell them, please watch this training video before our meeting. And that's going to be emailed to them automatically. So that's what I do on Calendly, right? So yeah, let's keep going. 15-minute video, solarmodelexplained.com is what I make everyone watch before I talk to them. And that's a great video for anyone, whether it's a salesman, whether it's, a home professional. The solar pros, I do recruit a lot of solar pros. They are a little bit more nitpicky, or they have more detailed questions about the red lines and things like that. And so I have other videos. My longer 30-minute video goes into more of the proposal and questions that solar pros ask. Profiles, we already showed you, keeping your profiles updated, contact information, good pictures, posting updates, all these different things you can post on your profiles. We talked about that, right? So you've attracted different people. You've gotten some people interested. You've networked with roofers, realtors, salesmen and women. Maybe you've collected business cards. Maybe you've added them to a texting program. Maybe you've sent them an email. And maybe it's just manually to start, right? A lot of these things you got to start manually. And then once you start getting speed, once you start building your database, maybe then you can use that texting program. Then you can use an email program to communicate with them all at once, right? Once you start building your database. And so once you start building up that database, with dozens, hundreds, even thousands of these professionals that you've met, networked with, got lists off of, got their info off LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever. You're building that database, right? And then you use those softwares to text and email them and continue to drip on these people, right? If they don't join your Zoom immediately, that's okay. I've had people join my team after a year of constantly updating them, of checking our Facebook, our social media, of sending them texts and emails. So sometimes you never know where someone's at in their life. Are they going to join right now? Maybe they're going to lose their job in 6 months. Maybe something's going to happen. Maybe they're ready for a side income. Maybe I've had people that got a divorce and then do this, or quit their job, or do X, Y, and Z. You never know where someone's at in their life. So continue to text your database, email your database, have them follow your social media, and keep promoting it to them. Invite them to the weekly Zoom, maybe ones that you do on a calendar to connect with you. Maybe it's the Monday Night Power Hour. Share new videos, share new updates like the Inc. 43, like our expansion into Hawaii and Puerto Rico. Guys, most salesmen or women or solar professionals in the United States, their companies don't even have available to sell in other states outside their coverage area, let alone Hawaii or Puerto Rico. So those are awesome to let people know that. Make sure they watch the video. I use a slide deck as well when I jump on Zoom with people, or in my video, I have a slide deck that I use. And then make sure to send them your join link, guys. If you get someone that's really interested in joining, maybe they've replied to a text, maybe they've shown interest, go ahead and open up your own join page and plug in their email for them. I like to do this. Little pro tip for you guys. If you have someone really interested to join, go to your own join page and fill in their email address for them. That's going to automatically email them the information. Power is going to email and drip on them automatically for you as well. And if they join, they'll be on your team. So go ahead and take that step for them if you like.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, let's take a break now because we have a couple questions that I think are great questions, and they require good answers. Let's go to the chat bar for a minute. So someone asked me to repeat, some of the phrasing I use. Remember, that was strictly for solar pros. Are you open to dramatically increased commissions and stock options as we scale to $1 billion IPO? Real estate is different. Are you joining the leading real estate firms in adding solar to their client offerings in these rather extraordinary times?
For real estate, for real estate,
Chris.
For real estate, I like to tell them, most of your customers will go solar. I tell realtors, 1 in 3 of your customers will go solar in the next few years, with or without you. Would you rather some sleazy door knocker pitch them on a horrible lease? Or would you rather provide another offering in your business and help them go solar to own their energy, just like you help them buy and own their home, right? And
same thing with roofing. Some of it's just a virtual game. I got into a little debate with a roofer today on LinkedIn this morning. They're offering a product that if they do their job right, they're not going to sell that customer again for 20 years. Now, fundamentally, as a business person, that doesn't make any sense to me. You always have a go back product. For God's sake, you're the trusted expert of their roof. And you can pick up our roofing business, and you can join enterprise, and you can pick up their business. Dan, just to be clear, the vast majority of what I'm talking about, Daniel, costs nothing. You can market all day long on Facebook for nothing. I did this every day for 5 years. My wife would go to bed. She goes about 8 or 9. And from 10 till 12 at night, I'd put on a ball game or something like that and connect with people on LinkedIn. You know how this all started for me, just so you know, and Chris told his story. I took a position for a company. I was offered after I left my cancer foundation. Someone was starting a company. It was a sports motivational company, right up my alley. In other words, Rob, they were building motivational messaging right into the clothing. The guy working harder than you is me, whatever it might be. So they offered me the position through a doctor client of mine, and I took the position. And as soon as I took the position, I talked to my wife about it. Now I'm the vice president or whatever. I'm a consultant for these guys. And I realized that I didn't know anybody in the industry. They were counting on me to build their brand. I'm a rec coach, right? I played sports my whole life, and I coached my son in every game he ever played in every sport. I didn't know anybody. I knew 5 other coaches, right? I asked my nephew what to do, and he said, you ought to look at this LinkedIn thing. It was pretty new at the time, right? No one really knew what LinkedIn was. I grabbed 2 books on LinkedIn marketing, took them on the airplane with me. I was traveling, got off the plane. Somebody asked me, what you learned? I said, I learned I could write a book on LinkedIn marketing because it's not rocket science. You have a profound profile. You join every group applicable. You connect with as many people. Folks, all you got to do is go on LinkedIn if you're in Arizona and type the words in solar pro seeking, solar pro looking, real estate pro looking. The algorithms will take you to you're the people that you're looking for. Chris's brother does this on MySpace. All you do is let the system do the work for you. That's all you got to do. Just type in something and let it do its work. So again, most of what I'm talking about, Daniel, free, not a dime. I recruited the first 200 people in Power without spending 5 cents. And this is addition. Remember, I got a job to do. I answer Jonathan Butt. I got a company to build. I got new systems to in place. I got leadership to develop, markets to open, all that kind of stuff. In my spare time, I go for when we get done here, I'm going on a hike. I'm going on a 10-mile hike, right? I take my phone with me, and every interval, I'll hop under a tree for a second, have a drink, and I'll connect with some people on LinkedIn. I'll take a break for a minute. I'll answer my LinkedIn messages. I'll answer my Facebook messages. I'll hide from Chris's brother. There's a lot that you can accomplish on just while you're working out, while you're doing your thing.
Yeah, time blocking is crucial. Block off your calendar an hour per day to go on LinkedIn and to network with realtors, roofers, contractors, salesmen and women in your local city. Can you block off an hour a day to do that?
Yes.
Can you block off 30 minutes a day to call green certified realtors that are in your, put the link in the chat. There's literally a database of green certified realtors where you can put your city or your county and find green certified realtors in your city or your county, right? And realtors are hurting for money. They're looking for more ways to find money. And one thing I was going to mention is when we talk to a realtor, roofer, home professional, we like to give them what we call the 1-2 punch. Option 1, would you like $1,000 for free to give us a referral? We'll do all the work for you. Option 2, would you like to join my team with Power, do a 4-hour onboarding, have a membership, and then you're going to get half of the commission? Either way, which is usually $3,000 to $4,000. And either option, we're going to do all the work for you. One of our top sales reps in the nation will handle everything for you. Which option would you prefer? We like to call that.
The reason I mentioned MySpace is because his brother and I have a standing joke going back and forth. He thinks I'm so old school that I'm on MySpace while he's on the next greatest chat AI. Josh, I've never heard of that. There's nothing illegal about referring someone in any industry that I'm aware of. If so, I'd love to see the statute. Remember, realtors are in for a hard time, whether they want to admit it or not. Unless they're in a niche market, they're done. The mortgage industry is done. There's nothing to sell. There's no money to sell. They're done for the next 2-3 years, right? So it's not happening. So remember, tomorrow you've got an enterprise presentation. You want to be inviting people for enterprise. And I have a separate message on my notes section of my phone that I send to people that Charles Thompson did, what'syourredline.com. I sent them the links. I send them the information. I recruit enterprise every week. I give them away, of course. In case all of you don't know, I have recruited over 500 people. I don't keep one of them. I give them away. Who do I give them away to? The people I trust that have systems in place, that train properly, that follow up properly, that are building a team properly. Because remember, we got to get this in at some point. Recruitment means nothing, really, at the end of the day. It's engagement after that point. That's when the work begins, right? That's when the foundation of trust begins. It's like any working relationship. I'd like to think that I'm best friends with 50 of the top producers in Power, like Chris Brunasso, like Jonathan Brunasso, like Charles Thompson, like many of them. I've traveled with them. I've been in their homes. I know their kids. We've hung out together. We've been on the beaches of the world together. We've partied together. Rob, Raisa, all these people. I love them to death. There's no people I'd rather be around. And when you love what you do, and when you love what you do it with, who you do it with, that's not work. right? But remember, the work, if you call it work, begins when they enroll. Finding out what they want. You can't help someone get where they want to go if you don't know where that is. Are they looking for $5,000? How many of you ever asked this question? Are you looking for $5,000 a month? Are you looking for $10,000 a month? Are you looking for $50,000 a month? Are you looking for $100,000 a month? What would it take to ring your bell? Are you not moved by money? Are you just moved by helping other people? There are no more powerful words in the world, and I've heard them twice this week. When someone comes to you and says, you've changed my life forever, how do you put an economic number on that, right? And that's what this business is about. And that's the greatest pride I take in this, when you change someone's life forever. You've got to make sure that they're reading the newsletter. You've got a job to do. You've got to get them on Pioneers immediately. You know how I feel about market development. Any active seller in this company that's not on market development is not in the company. And I would urge them to lose my phone number, right? They have got to be on market development or they are not real, because that means they're not learning how to sell in their local market. And one of the reasons I put market development together was for the Chris Brunassos of the world. How's he going to manage 100 people's questions? Hey, Chris, can you help me out? I need some help on the setback in Virginia this morning. Really? Good luck with that. You know what he's going to do? He's going to hit Chat AI. Hey, Chris, I need your help. I need to understand the SRECs in New Jersey. Really? Good luck with that. It's a book. Hey, I need to understand the changes in Illinois that are happening this week. Hey, I didn't know that there was an NEM transition in North Carolina for the next 90 days, that it's a gold mine. Oops, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know they just doubled the electric rates in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and the Northeast. I didn't know that, because they're not on market development. They don't know what's going on in their company. They just don't know, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Keeping plugged in, staying on the trainings. And yeah, as Bobby said, it's so much fun getting to know some of the top people. Here's Michael Patterson on the team. You can see here some Joseph Materchek right there. This was in Dallas last year. It's so fun to build a team and make new friends and have new family members, really, and just have a lot of fun doing it. Once people join, you know, they have to do the power, of course, the onboarding for the tier 1. I email them my steps to success. That's in my solarmasterguide.com. Most of you have probably seen that, but solarmasterguide.com is basically all my resources, tools, trainings, how to get questions answered. And the second tab of that has basically got the steps I recommend for all of our new people to get plugged in, to watch a couple trainings, to join our Facebook group. And all of that is what I send people when they join. I do a Zoom meeting with people to review their goals. If they're willing to do that, I make sure they attend the trainings, join our Facebook group. We have a chat. You know, if you're building a team, can you make a messenger group or a WhatsApp group and add people to that? Someone said they had 6 people in their team. Can you make a messenger group? Can you keep engaged with your team? Right? I use the same text and email softwares that I mentioned to text and email my whole team at one time to join the training, like today, or like every Tuesday, my brother's training, right? So I actually sent a text and email to our whole team to join his trainings. And I made that Solar Master Guide for scaling, for automating, right? I can't always be responding to texts or calls from my entire team. So this has got how to get your questions answered, right? If you ever have a question, searching knowledge base, searching Power University, asking chat, ask a mentor, ask a team group. And then my brother and I's team now has office hours, but this has got those new steps I mentioned. If you're new to Power, what I recommend doing. We have our trainings in here, tools, and a whole bunch more in that master resource document that I made. So
is anybody noticing what the Brunasso brothers are doing that you might not be doing? When you look at the sophistication of what they're doing, is it any question why collectively these guys are making 2-3 million a year, and they've won the last 2 Teslas that we've given away? You know, is there any wonder if you really take a hardcore look at what you're doing? And you may not have all the skill sets that they do. I don't, right? I think somebody was asking about dialing in. So remember, every training that we do, if you're talking about market development and you're a solar pro, there are now, we built into our training from Daniel Housen is keywords and phrases. So anything you want to search in the knowledge base as it relates to market development, just type in a keyword, phrase, or search term, and you'll get whatever you're looking for. And again, we have thousands of solar pros that are on our market development trainings every week. All the top solar pros on our platform are on almost every training every week. And we're training a different subject almost every week. There is no one-on-one, there's no 101 training on the market development Zooms. Let's see what else we got. I want to say one more thing too before I forget, and then we'll open it up. If you have a few more questions, please put them in the chat bar. We want to respect your time. Again, I'm a sports guy, and I love sports analogies. Rob and I were talking about this the other day. There's also another interesting analogy that's going on in the NBA Finals right now as we speak. We don't know which way it'll go. But the Miami Heat, as you may or may not know, are in the finals. 50%, over 50% of their production is coming from people that were undrafted. If you don't know anything about sports, that means that the industry told them they weren't good enough. They weren't fast enough. They weren't even willing to pay them. They weren't willing to give them $1. They told them they were too slow. They couldn't jump high enough. They didn't have the intellect. They weren't good enough shooters. They weren't team players. They couldn't play deep, whatever it was. So their whole life, or maybe good portion of people told them they weren't good enough. On the biggest stage in one of the biggest sports in the world, 50% of the production is coming, not from the LeBron Jameses, not from the superstars, from the guys that were told they weren't good enough. So like my mentor told me, go after solar pros if you want. Some of them are more trouble than they're worth. Go after real estate agents if you want, mortgage brokers if you want. I go after all of them. But give me the guy or the gal that's got a fire in their belly and they're willing to go to work for something they believe in, that they're willing to go to zero and get programmed and learn a new skill set. And there are millions of them there in the United States right now. Millions of people looking for a new career. Restaurants are closing down. Retail establishments are going by the wayside. Do you really think there'll be a physical bank in the United States of America in 10 years? There are talented, brilliant, accomplished professionals that are looking for something, and there are just hungry police officers and firemen and people that serve our country and do all the things you want to do every day. I want to talk to the guy that's on the trash truck. I want to talk to the guy that's looking for a way out. I want to talk to somebody that's hungry and wants something. Again, sometimes solar pros are great. Sometimes they're not worth the paper they're written on because they can't forget what they think they know. They come from an outdated, broken, and deceptive, failed red line model. And that's what I say to all of them all day, every day. I piss as many of them off as I can, right? Because that's the end of the day. That's the story of the solar industry. It's broken. And folks, just remember, it's going to get a lot more broken than it is today. There are predictions that 70% of the installers in the solar companies will not survive the next 3 years because the financing is changing and the cash flow is changing. And quite frankly, they don't have the money to flow it. I think Jonathan Bubb will talk about this on Saturday. You have to hear what he has to say. We just had a groundbreaking meeting for the first time with 15 of the top installing companies in the United States of America to find out what they think about what we need to do to get better, coming together with our installing partners and starting to learn, because the model is going to change, folks. The industry is going to change. We're going to change. So get uncomfortable. If you want to get comfortable, get uncomfortable, right? Shit is changing. Governments are trying to stop clean energy, right? The dirty energy, the dirty politicians, the governor of California, I think he should be in jail personally, that they're trying to stop clean energy. It is not in their best interest for us to live off the sun. They'd rather pollute the water that you're swimming in, kill the fish that your children are eating. That's where their money is. That's what drives the country, unfortunately. That's what drives the world, unfortunately. Find somebody who has a passion, who really cares, who wants something. Find the person that wants to spend more time with their kids. Did I pay a price in direct sales? Absolutely. But the price that I paid the first 2 years when my kids were born is that I would never have to answer to anybody again in my life. And I could spend every single day building my time around their life and their schedule. And whatever they are, whoever they are, whatever they accomplish, I only hope that some part of it is because I did something. I took that entrepreneurial step. I don't believe in having a job. Why would someone work for someone else when they can have their own company? And remember that you're the CEO of your own renewable energy company. It's not about what Power did or didn't do. It's not where an installer failed or didn't fail. It's not about if the system or this or that. It's about you. The best place to look is in the mirror. That's where this thing runs. That's where it goes. So anyway, any other questions in the chat bar?
Boom. That was fire, Bobby. Yeah. We're moving to a decentralized world, the new gig economy. It's no longer these giant corporations that have all the power and everyone's just a W-2 drone, right? You look at Uber, Airbnb, XP Realty, everything's moving to a decentralized economy. Even our electricity is moving to decentralized, where homeowners own their individual energy. So that's the trend. That's the direction our world business commerce is heading, is that decentralized model. And I love that I get to help entrepreneurs. I've been an entrepreneur a while. I love that I get to help my team grow their business. I've had several guys that have a W-2 job and then they sell power. Maybe they started as a side hustle. One of my guys, Abraham in New Jersey, last year sold 15 deals as a side hustle. He had a 9 to 5. He just texted me 2 months ago. He said, Chris, I quit my fucking job. I told my boss to go kick rocks. And that's so awesome that we get to help people be their own boss, grow their own business, become an entrepreneur with power, with solar. So it's been so fun. Make sure you set expectations with them. Make sure people know it's called the solar coaster for a reason. It's construction. Shit's going to happen. If you have someone coming in, think they're just going to make $7,000, $8,000 in 1 month and nothing will go wrong, you are sorely mistaken. Get ready for shit to happen. Make sure your team knows that. And when you do recruiting, just like JC Rangel taught me, it's like a deck of cards. You can recruit 54 people and you're going to get 4 aces. So maybe it's the 4 or 5 mentors, but you're also going to get a couple jokers, couple, twos or whatever it is.
Come on.
So it's going to be a mixed bag, right? But go after those people that are hungry, right? Even Michael Patterson, one of our #1 mentors in Florida, he was a firefighter and he was looking for a better option, a better way to support his family and his son that he's got. So go after those people, like Bobby said. And overall, guys, I shared a lot of automations and some of these more advanced things I do, but start small. How can you connect with more of these homeowner professionals, salesmen and women? Is it a local event? Is it on LinkedIn 1 hour a day? Is it calling green realtors 30 minutes a day? What are these things that you can do per day? Block off your calendar, take some initiative. How can you connect with people? What's your skill set? I'm not a very extroverted, outgoing people. I don't do the BNI in-person networking like my brother. My brother does that, right? I'm more on behind the computer on LinkedIn and things. So what's your skill set? Bring it to the platform. Start small, right? I recruited my first 50, 60 people using a Google Excel sheet. I wasn't using any of these automations. I had a Google Excel sheet and I was listing people's name and phone number and texting them manually, right? So start small. How can you start? Where can you start? Start building your list of people. If you want to use a free CRM like HubSpot, they got a free version. Once you get 100, 200 people in your database, then maybe start to think about an email campaign or a texting software. Then start to scale up and talk to me about go high level and stuff like that. Join one of my office hours. I'm happy to help you guys. So
I love it. Hey, and I don't want to forget this, Chris. It's really important, folks, because remember, you gotta give people fair expectations, because if they think they're going to make money in 30 days or 60 days, particularly with the shift in M1s and everything that's happening, you got to let them know to hold on to that job. Keep what they're doing. You don't want people working under economic stress or economic pressure. They got families. And again, like Chris said, you got to let them know they're in construction business. No matter what, 20% of your jobs are going to fall out. I've got a nightmare happen with one of my jobs right now. A doctor cleared his schedule of patients to get an install today, and it's not happening. That's okay. I got a pipeline. That's what pipelines are for, right? So you just got to understand that. And remember, you've got to do a solid to all your reps. If you're a leader in this company and you're not reviewing the Monday newsletter with your team, you're failing them. If you haven't gotten them on Pioneers, you are failing them. If you don't have them on market development, you are failing them. If you don't have them coming to the big events like tomorrow, you are failing them. So it's up to us. We've got to lead. Remember, the work begins when you enroll someone. That's where you begin to build that trust, that friendship, that relationship. You've got to hold their hand through the tough times. You've got to be there for them. I think I'm most proud of the fact of how many people would have probably quit power, how many more people would have quit power if it wasn't for their trust in Chris Brunasso or Jonathan Brunasso or Melissa Dawson or Charles Thompson or Bobby Smith. I'd like to think that I've earned their trust. They know we've got their back. They know when shit goes wrong, we're going to do something. We're going to escalate something. We're going to figure it out together, right? And we've got to lead with integrity, folks. Remember, there's people out there doing bad stuff. In other solar companies, we've caught people doing bad stuff in power. We catch people, cross recruiting other reps. We've got to act out of integrity. We're a public benefit corporation. We serve mankind and womankind. That's what we're about. Every training is in the university. Every training that we do is in the knowledge base under Building with Bobby. And just so you know, I'm booked out for the next few weeks. Chris graciously agreed to be here today. Who's going to do the next training on Building with Bobby? And they're all geared towards building, right? Like we always say, if somebody asks a question that's not about team building, there's an ice bucket of water above their head. It will come crashing down upon them. Any strategies that you think that you can bring to the group about how to grow their team. And I would say one thing to add to what Chris said too, follow your passions. I'm a gardener. I go to the garden shows. Last garden show I walked into, the first booth was a guy from Sunrun. It was over in 5 minutes, right? I used to have a boat for 10 years. I would go to the boat shows to exchange business cards, to engage with. I'm not pitching them while they're working. I'm not trying to sell them solar while they're working. Trade show warriors are great. A, they wouldn't be doing trade shows every week if they were making the kind of money they wanted to make quite often. And B, they're in a different city, in a different state every single week. They're warriors. They're great people to look for. So in closing, unless there's any, the newsletter, if you're not getting the newsletter, then you've got the wrong email in your back office. And if you're not getting an email, check your junk file or check with support@power.com. That's where everybody checks with those things. If you're not getting market development text blast, we're we're taking that software in-house. It's going to be automated from now on. But remember, whether you get a text blast from market development has nothing to do with whether you're on there or not. Every single person should be on there, and every member of your team should be on there because it's on their phone. It's in their calendar on a repeating frequency with an alert 15 minutes before. It's that simple. So are we excited about Puerto Rico? Yes. Are we excited about Hawaii? Hell yes. Will we let you know when we get licensed in New York? Hell yes. The shortest distance between bringing on a new market, just so you know, we're looking at new markets, but never ask the question, when are we opening here? When are we opening there? If you want to open a market that we're not in, the easiest way is to recruit an installer as enterprise. How do you do that? You invite them to the event tomorrow, to the enterprise presentation that I believe Charles is giving, right? I know that all of you have September circled on your calendar, or already committed to the national convention, because if you're not, you're just not committed, right? You've got the date circled, you're planning your airlines, you're coming in a day early, you're sharing rooms, you're driving cars, you're sleeping on floors, you're doing whatever you want to do. No one is in this business until they have been to our national convention. And that is the first weekend. That's the weekend after Labor Day, September. I'm sure you've all got it on your calendars. It begins on that Thursday night, the 7th. I think there's an event actually happening on Wednesday for certain people. We will announce hotels long in advance. You never have to ask where it's going to be at or what's available. As soon as we are ready to open it to the public, our marketing team does that. Cami and Clarissa and the marketing team are brilliant. They've changed this company. Ethan and Kevin and the operations team and all the operations managers, please give your operations managers some love. Please give your project managers some love, particularly in California. Folks, we just wrote 3,000 contracts. Tom Cotter put up a post the other day about how many submissions have been made to the local utility companies, the permitting. We're in unprecedented times here. And the only thing we can do right now for all the leaders of California and all the leaders of every market is to kill your project managers with kindness, to keep building your pipeline, to understand the nature of the industry, to make, we had 3 complaints about responses from project managers yesterday. And when we looked into the database, you know how long their queue was open for? 5 minutes. They didn't get a response in 5 minutes and they escalated it to 15 people, right? Please communicate with your project manager in Zendesk, in your back office and do it correctly. You don't have to email 15 people. You don't have to copy 15 people. We've got to continue to get better and better and better in what we do, and work collectively as a team to raise this company. Folks, remember, this company hasn't started yet. I'll say this to you in closing. When I'm closing someone, I tell them, this is an entrepreneur's dream. Anybody can say anything. We've got an 8-year track record of unparalleled success. Fastest growing solar company in the world last 3 years. One of the most impactful companies in the world this year. Raised billions in venture capital. Our board has raised billions in venture capital. 2 world record changing crowdfunding events. And no one knows who we are. That is an entrepreneur's dream. A track record that hasn't scratched the surface. And I know a lot of you on here are new, so I'll give you one more time the quote that I love the most right now. I am in love with it. I steal people's shit whenever possible. The person with the fastest copying machine wins. Google Chris Sacca, multi-billionaire, Shark Tank entrepreneur, one of the most robust investment firms in the world, early investor in Twitter and Uber and everybody else. And to quote, the revenue generated in renewable energy technology moving forward will be greater than all of the revenue generated on the internet to date. You need to embrace that. We're a renewable energy tech company. We built the most robust technology tech stack in the industry. The revenue generated in renewable energy technology moving forward will be greater than all of the revenue generated on the internet to date. You want to argue with Sacca? Good luck. They laughed at him at Twitter. They laughed at him with Uber. They've laughed at him a few times in his career, and that's how he got to a couple billion. They laughed at me when I got in the cell phone business, like Chris's brother, because they said no one would ever use those things. They laughed at me when I got involved in the internet in the early days because they said it would never adapt. I still stand to this principle. The product that power will make the most money on hasn't been invented yet. It doesn't have a name yet. We're not a solar company. Will we sell solar? Yes. Will we sell batteries? Yes. Will we sell charging stations? Yes. Will we sell renewable HVAC? Yes. But remember, 5 years from now, a company's going to come out with a product that hasn't been invented yet, and they're going to have 2 pathways. They can build infrastructure, hire redundant corporate management, spend tens of millions of dollars raising capital, give away half of their company, and statistically, they'll be out of business in 3 to 5 years. Or they can take that product to power and let our 50,000 trained assassins in multiple languages throughout the world go sell it for them. Which path do you think they will choose? And more importantly, how big of a team do you want when it happens? I think you got a taste of why Chris Brunasso out recruits everybody in the company, because he's got dialed down. It's not just his good looks. It's not just his talented brother. It's not just his beautiful girlfriend. They both got beautiful girlfriends now. It's systems, techniques, follow-up, work ethic, that smile, engagement, process. So again, everybody, keep looking in the mirror before you look anywhere else. What am I going to do this weekend? Update my Facebook profile, update my LinkedIn profile. Me and myself, everybody on my team, be at the event this Saturday. Drive all that activity into Monday night. Drive everything I'm doing into national convention. Change as many lives as we possibly can. Build a better future for our children and theirs. And just be really, really, really proud of what we do. When I went to my high school reunion, the greatest thing that happened was all my friends said they wish they felt or remember what it felt to feel like I feel. And you can't, you know how many few people in the world today can't wait to wake up in the morning so they can do it all over again? It's about 1/10 of 1%. 90% of America is doing something they'd rather not be doing. We're doing something we love with who we get a chance to do it with, right? So our thank yous go out to Chris. Give it up in the chat bar for Mr. Brunasso, the better looking twin, right? Give it up for him. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Let's have some fun. Let's inspire the speakers. Let's give them all the love we possibly can. And more than anything else, give your project managers the love. Give your operations managers the love. understand. You can never judge a man until you've walked a mile in his moccasins, right? What they're doing is not easy, particularly in these times. So thanks to Chris. Thanks to all of you. Have a blessed day. I hope you have as great a hike as I'm going to have right now while I'm working, while I'm on my cell phone, while I'm having a blast. Okay. Peace out. Much love. We love you. Let's change the world. Peace.
Thank you, Bobby. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.